An artist's duty, as far as I'm concerned, is to reflect the times. I think that is true of painters, sculptors, poets, musicians. As far as I'm concerned, it's their choice. But I choose to reflect the times and the situations in which I find myself. That to me is my duty. And at this crucial time in our lives, when everything is so desperate, when every day is a matter of survival, I don't think you can help but be involved. Young people, black and white, know this. That's why they're so involved in politics. We will shape and mold this country, or it will not be molded and shaped at all anymore. So I don't think you have a choice. How can you be an artist and not reflect the times?
Mystical manifestation of life. I am a professional, powerful lyricist grabbing the mic. I can imagine a world where all boys and girls have a reason to live. I stand for justice, equality, present and past, what was and what is. I am guiding the ships to shore in the still of the night. Beams of light reflecting on the past and the stories held beneath my waters. Marauders fell deep. I am eternally yours, hand in the jaws, yearning for freedom just because it brings me closer to thee, omnipotent one. Love is a tumble, the second to none. I stumble and get right back upon my feet, screaming the words I've heard. I shall overcome, retreat, never an option, stay with concoctions, love and honesty, truth eruptions, combining power to kill corruption, still never missing a beat. I am a magical, mystical manifestation of life. I am a professional, powerful lyricist grabbing the mic. I can imagine a world where all boys and girls have a reason to live. I stand for justice, equality, present and past, what was and what is.
Hi, my name is Maya Jupiter. I'm an artivist, which is artist activist. I'm also a mother, hip-hop creator, and I'm half Mexican, half Turkish, raised in Australia and currently living in Los Angeles.
Hello, I'm Kween G. I'm an MC, I'm a hip-hop artist, I'm a radio producer and trainer, I'm a lover of life, and I'm also a mother, and I'm from Uganda.
So my name is Thelma, but aka MC Trey. So Trey is my music, my performance name. Fijian and Samoan background, but raised in Australia in Western Sydney.
Hi, my name is Ghenoa Gela. I am a proud Torres Strait Islander woman born on Durumble country, which is Rockhampton in central Queensland. My artistic background is in dance. However, I cross a lot of mediums. I also do acting and comedy and choreograph and direct and, you know, all of the things as we as artists do. We just navigate everything that we possibly can.
I'm Zeadala. I am half Thai and half Iraqi. And I am a musician.
DJ Josie Styles. Born and raised in Sydney, just came back from Tasmania last week. I've been living there for the last 9 months, and when I'm not DJing, I'm saving the world one species at a time. So frogs, birds, bats mainly, and then DJing on the side.
My name's Merenia Marin. I worked for about 25 years in the music industry, touring internationally and as a songwriter. I'm published by ABC. And but I also now the last 7 years I've been working in the refugee sector and in disabilities, so I kind of combine both at the moment. And my heritage, I'm Maori from New Zealand, but my mother's family are Welsh and Roma Gypsy.
Artivista is a night celebrating women in hip hop that Gladys and I, Miss Kween G, came up with. I have a company back in the States that I founded with 4 other friends called Artivista Entertainment, and we've put on a few events featuring women, featuring artivistas, women who use their art for positive social change. What is hip hop to me? Hip hop is a culture, a way of life. It's community. It's many things. What has always drawn me in is the ability to express myself and say what's on my mind. It's given me a platform, a voice, a family, a community, a space to be me, to feel part of something. Hip hop has given me opportunity to make a difference and and just try to make things better in our community, in our society.
I'm the healer, protector, the teacher of time, the nurturer, the fighter, the enemy of lies, staying quiet and still I'm absorbing all stress until I explode, then I am civil unrest. I'm the hope that was born in Malala's heart, the dream of Sandra looking for a fresh start. I'm the will of Rayhan to keep Island safe, the fireborn in Annie after surviving rape. I'm a mother, a daughter, a grand and a great responsibility to support and create. I'm the fight against a corrupt prison system, standing on the front lines, robustly resistant. I'm the key that unlocks every detention center, the cord, the blood, the mighty placenta. I am fierce, ferocious, and furiously strong. I am Mother Earth, and this is my song.
Hip hop to me is a lifestyle. I've been a part of this experience since I was a child, and as an adult now, I look at the things that I do and I acknowledge that everything that I do contributes to hip hop. It goes beyond just making music and releasing it. It's how you live your life. It's community. It's how your purpose. So for me, I'm very connected to communities and standing up for justice and being an advocate for those who don't have a voice or who have less of a voice. I'm an advocate for human rights, for women's rights, for children, and for animals as well. And so I think that all these things and work within hip hop and knowledge as well. And so that's what hip hop means to me.
Hip hop has been an important part of my identity and has been, one of the major mediums for me to tell my story. It's been there, I loved growing up listening to hip hop music when I was younger because there weren't that many representations of myself. I couldn't see my stories in mainstream media growing up, but so I was drawn to hip hop because I could relate. And then as I got older, I thought, okay, maybe I could do this as well. And so I've been very blessed to be able to, rap and perform. And hip hop's taken me all over the world and taught me so much and, linked me up with so many amazing people. So it's been, an important part of my life.
Well, lately I've been wondering about what's been going on the local, on the global, all across the horizon. At the rising of the dawn to the setting of the sun, when the night creepeth in, more and more havoc is run. DMC, do more crazy things, get done while you sleep. It's the turning of a chapter, the end as we speak. Too much BS on the regular, causing all the secular, segregating energy. The world needs an editor, scripted on a regular, building up the reservoir, not heading for the jugular, restructuring the cellular. I'm telling you, not sparing you, enlighten you, not biting. Are you ready for the truth? Take a look all around you.
Lately I've been wondering about what's been going on. We be pushing, eventually it's gone. On a daily I've been wondering what's been going on. We be pushing, eventually it's gone.
Hip hop is so many things for me. From what I understand about hip hop and hip hop culture is that it was a way to empower and give voice to people who were oppressed, and I think it did exactly that. So for myself, growing up in Australia, I feel like I can relate to, not that my experiences were anything like to the extent of what the communities had to go through, but it was a way for me to be able to find a sense of belonging and to be able to use my voice. I didn't really know what that meant, you know, to fight for social justice until I started listening to hip hop, really.
I was hoping you wouldn't judge me, so I didn't judge myself. Judging by my current state, it's safe to say that I may need help to let go of my ego. Like it ain't part of me, though it seems to wanna grow tall as a tree. Still I'm talking about me like maybe I should listen. I just wanna listen. Tell me more, I'm in something bigger than me, something worth believing. Tell me more, I'm in. Don't pull on my trigger yet, no deceiving. It's true, really hope the message can reach the youth. If it doesn't, tell me what we gon' do. Only thinking of yourself, reality becomes so skewed. It's like you're living your life, staring at your rearview mirror.
A big one. I think it's changed for me as I get older, so like I'm quite old now, but when I was young it was really about smashing the patriarchy, because it's such a patriarchal subculture and it was so dominated by men, and there was no female DJs. There was one DJ, DJ Chrissy from Melbourne, and she was running a show called Step Into the AM, and I used to get her tapes bootlegged, and I'd be like, who can I get to swap to get these tapes? And so I'd get these tapes up from Melbourne, I'd listen over and over and over again, and essentially she was my inspiration. She was the first female to ever enter the DMC competitions. Back then that stood for like Disco Mixing Championship, I think, and she was the only female DJ, and then she sort of didn't really do any more DJing per se after that, and I was like, who's going to take those reins? So I kind of like hid behind my decks for a few years, played at house venues, and then one day I was like, fuck it, I'm going to put on a gig, and I put on like a hip hop gig in like '99 with Brad Strutt and a few other guys, of course, and I played my first set, and I remember like playing my first set, and I hit my first record or second record, and I was on like 45, not 33, so I was like, and then DJ Blaze came up and was like, press the right speed. I was so nervous. I was just like, I had my set list like all written down underneath and everything. But yeah, now like it's kind of changed. Women are really, really kind of taking over. It's still quite, you know, it's changed. I really think it's changed. You know, in terms of pop culture now, it's like everywhere. It wasn't like that for us back then. It was really, really underground. Yeah, and I've always listened to underground hip hop.
Oh, do I believe arts and music promotes positive change? Hells yeah, I do. Hard. Art is the voice of the people. It's the only form of true expression, I believe, that is in the world, you know.
This is the trend. The blend, the fad, the craze. Let's all put on Native American headdresses and put on a parade. Let's put some face paint on and pretend to be black. Let's steal all their land and never give it back.
We are so caught up in structures and boxes and, you know, things that are constantly trying to hold us in place. But what art does, it allows us to actually break through all of that stuff and find ourselves, you know. And we're human beings, man. We're complex creatures. So art is what is going to change the world, you know. When people want time out, they go watch a movie, or they chuck on their favourite tunes, or they try and colour in something, you know, like everything. Actually, everybody goes back to art, whether they realise it or not. So hells yeah, I do.
I definitely believe that music is, you know, a powerful tool for social change. I mean, you know, for myself, that's how I, you know, it helped me to, you know, overcome a lot of situations that I was going through when I was a young person, you know, migrating from Fiji as a 12-year-old, moving to Western Sydney, the identity issues, you know, dealing with being a teenager, being a Pacific woman, you know, in this society. Music helped me, you know, to try to find out where I fit in, and, you know, empowered me to do what I do today, you know, so it's very important. And I do a lot of workshops helping young people, encouraging them to tell their stories through hip-hop music and through writing and through song. So I see the, you know, the effects of that almost every week, so very important.
I think art and music definitely has the power to influence social change. It is a form of resistance. It is what one would perceive as like an outlier to a dominant culture. And I think we need to be able to express ourselves through art, and also to use that art to talk about things that are really hard to talk about, things that people don't want to talk about, and really give power to create positive changes in our community.
Yeah, absolutely. I think without music, well, music is a social medium that everyone can use. It's an art form, right? So whether it's photography or painting, music is like that. It's very expressive. You can be yourself. You can stand up for your rights, you know, Bob Marley style. You can do all that kind of stuff. I personally don't rap because I'm tone deaf and I can't hold a tune, so I prefer to use the music and play the records of people that say shit and stand up for the right things, and have quite a positive message, definitely, whether it's about changing the system, whether it's about smashing the patriarchy, destroying the joint, whatever it might be. I try to use kind of my platform to bring across the environmental issues that people may not be aware of. So while people know me as a DJ, they know that I also am an environmentalist. So that kind of crosses over, and being a Gemini, that kind of works.
I think that as an artist, in the words of Nina Simone, you have a responsibility to reflect your times. I'm often disappointed that artists stray away from that. Not so much in hip hop, but in a lot of other genres. Everybody can play it a bit safe. There's not many people that are writing highly politicised stuff that makes it through to the mainstream. But so absolutely. I mean, it's one of the few avenues we've got left. Everyone's stuck inside this capitalist machine, and for a lot of us, our creativity is the only thing that is not a commodity beyond our control.
No soy arrima, but you can't feel my words. You will feel my words. You will feel my words. This one gon' be killer. This one gon' be killer. This one coming at you all killer, no filler. This one gon' be killer. This one gon' be killer. This one dedicated to all of my sisters. Yeah.
Well, I'd say that hip hop, reflects the society that we're in today. And if we're in a society full of discrimination and misogyny, part of that's going to be reflected in hip hop. But everywhere you go in the world, there's going to be a bit of everything, and it just, unfortunately, a lot of the negative, well, I think they're quite negative. The messages are being, a lot of the songs with the negative messages are being pushed out, mainstream. So if we look a bit deeper, we'll find a lot of music where you can actually learn about people's histories from all around the world, motivating stories. Young people that are depressed are listening to songs that are telling them it's okay, keep going, get up, and when we used to get messages saying, your song got me through uni, or your songs got me through high school. It's very important. It's not for everyone, but hip hop it will always reflect the sign of the times, so we can't please everyone, but there's something in hip hop for everyone though.
Want from me, you got all you need, so go and get yours, and I'ma get mine. What you want from me, you got all you need, so go and get yours. I'm working hard for mine.
I guess the main message that I wish to convey through my music is that you are both different and not different, and that is okay, because to imply that we are diverse or different is always from like a main source, but I guess we're all like different from each other, and that's okay. It's about embracing that. It's about celebrating our strengths. It's about empathy and understanding. And so through my music, I I wish to really connect with the human that is in people and forget, you know, all these sort of like other layers that actually don't mean too much as well.
Being a woman, an African woman in the body that I'm in, is the first place that I start, you know, just for my own lived experience. I don't want to just worry about myself, you know. I think hip hop gives us this responsibility and this importance to advocate for others, you know, and when we do find ourselves in a good position or in a position where we, you know, don't have to stress so much, then we share that, we'll invite other people in.
I commit to my black girl magical, black girl attitude. I magnitude high frequencies, generating generations evenly. Yes, descended from ancient scent. I'm an agent of change through pages. I'm raging, rearranging the stage. I repel bad vibes, I repel bad shade, I repel bad eyes, I repel bad ways, I repel bad mind, repel bad energy. Repel bad everything, repel bad vibes, I repel bad shade, I repel bad eyes, I repel bad ways, I repel bad mind, repel bad energy. Repel bad everything.
Artivista Entertainment was founded by myself and my husband, Aloe Black, and our friends Quetzal Flores, who's a musician, he's a community organizer, he's an activist, Alberto Lopez, who is a sound engineer and musician, and Veronica Gonzalez, who has a background in marketing. So the five of us came together. You know, it really started because we realized that we had a lot of resources and we wanted to be able to share this with other artists and to really just support other artists in our community, not just musicians, but, you know, painters, dancers, anyone that does anything with the arts, even gardening. You know, we really wanted to be able to support. And so we came up with Artivista Entertainment. It's a company, it's a record label. We produce events, we collaborate with universities, high schools, middle schools. We've done a lot of different kind of programming. We also put on these events called charlas, which mean talks, where we talk in circle with community. We pick people that feature on the panel, and it's not really a panel, but, you know, featured guests. And we just have discussions around different topics. And one of the first ones we did was about motherhood, resistance, you know, and it was really cool to have different women from different backgrounds. One being Ofelia Esparza, who is a master alterista. What that means is, I don't even know, she's an elder in our community, and she builds altars, so these incredible shrines, especially during Dia de los Muertos. So she's someone who's very revered and respected in the Mexican community. And so we just talked about that art and what, you know, what she's experienced and how she uses that art form to make a change. So anyway, Artivista Entertainment is a lot of fun. It's many things and it's always evolving. Last year I released Never Said Yes, and it's, you know, I called the album that after the song. The title track is a song about affirmative consent, and it's really my spin on no means no. It's like, well, you have to get my consent first. You know, you have to focus on the yes rather than the no.
I don't need to say no, 'cause I never said yes. I don't need to say no, 'cause I never said yes. No, 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 no. I don't need to say no, 'cause I never said yes. I don't need to say no, 'cause I never said yes. I don't need to say no, 'cause I never said yes. No, 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 no. I will not.
And I called the album that because the album really is it's protest music. It talks about many different issues, from the school to prison pipeline, as I said, to affirmative consent and rape culture, lots of different types of issues, social justice issues. And it just felt like, you know, everything going on in the United States, and especially for the last 5 years, everything that you face on the day-to-day, it's a lot, and for me music is a way to process it and to sort of, you know, talk about it. It's my therapy. It's many things. I want to sort of focus on what do I stand for, and finding the spaces of being able, the moments to be able to reimagine what your society can look like. So reimagining, you know, the prison system, like, what does safety mean in our community? How do we reimagine safety? You know, where police brutality and police violence is not an everyday occurrence, you know. And I mean, you can see that here as well. It's reflected here as well statistically. Who occupies our jails, you know, and statistically it's Indigenous folk and, you know, black and brown people compared to, you know, the rest of non-Indigenous Australians. So it's important to look at why those statistics exist, and I think a lot of it has to do with colonisation and white supremacy, and our country in Australia has a history of white supremacy. I mean, we had a white Australia policy up until the 70s, until the late 70s, where we didn't allow people who were not white into this country, and we let them in because we needed workers. So we're like, all right, let's relax our borders. Like, we need to acknowledge and talk about this stuff, because people that think, oh, that's the past and it doesn't affect now. No, it really does, because you've really benefited from that policy, from the government federal policy for many generations. And so we have to acknowledge even the ugly stuff in our history in order to move forward. You know?
It's a song that I wrote with McFire. It was produced by Fermi, and it was one that we really wanted to write because I guess we noticed that a lot of young people in, I guess, communities where their parents have migrated here, they almost feel like they don't belong, or they're fearful of environments outside of their home environment or out of their school environment, you know, just like not being accepted for the color of their skin or their religion. And so we just wanted to write a positive song to reinforce the message that we all have the inherent power to be ourselves. Yeah. And like really celebrate that. And that starts in the palm of our hands. So we can write, so we can play music or protest.
It is so important to connect with the young people, to empower them in the ways of expressing themselves, validating themselves, empowering themselves in something that is already in their body. The young black people in this country, in our blood, is song lines, storylines, dance lines, all of that is right in there. So music, this, you know, the way that the Western people categorize separating the art from ourselves is actually, you know, it is quite detrimental to young people, because young people can do all of the things because their minds are so open to whatever it is and they just want to immerse themselves in everything. So when I do these programs, I know that it's actually more, like, it is more than me. And what I hope to do is I hope to build confidence within it. So, you know, dance is just the vessel, but pride in culture and pride in oneself is really what it's about.
Mystical manifestation of life. I am a professional, powerful lyricist grabbing the mic. I can imagine a world where all boys and girls